when did you first feel that your voice mattered, like you weren't just surviving, but being heard?
I still struggle with this one because I'm an introvert really, and this is why I love podcasting really, because I feel like it's a platform where even the most quietest, shyest person can get their voice out there. And I'm so pleased I started, because it's not only the podcast that's the content, you can just repurpose it in so many ways, which I love about podcasting. It's just like the backbone for all your content, all your marketing content. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I think that's what people underestimate with podcasting, and that's why so many podcasts, the average is that a podcast will stop after 10 episodes.
What's the first step if someone is thinking of starting a podcast, or what would be your recommendations to them?
First of all,
Hello and welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles, where we discuss all things business, branding and life from the Horizon Digital podcast recording studio here in Perth. I'm your host Tracy, the founder of Design Studio Perth, and because Design Studio Perth is dedicated to helping business owners grow with distinction through captivating branding and design, we're offering all our listeners a free brand discovery. So if you find yourself frustrated with your current branding and marketing and aren't too sure where to next, use a link in the show notes below to book in a time to have a chat. Now, I don't know about you, but I find the best conversations are had over a great cup of coffee. And so the coffee for each episode of the Real Biz Life Chronicles is brewed for us by no other than the legends at Cuppa Cartel. They're fueling great conversations, one cuppa at a time. Now, the Real Biz Life Chronicles is on a mission to become one of Australia's leading business podcasts, but in order to do that, we please need your help. If you do enjoy today's episode, we please ask that you like and subscribe to our channels below, or simply share this episode with a fellow business owner who is doing one of the hardest things in the world, building a business. Now, if there is a question you'd like us to ask our guests, please feel free to pop it in the comments section below, or simply send us an email at info@therealbizlifechronicles.com. The episode today was inspired by our listeners. I've had a few of our audience ask me about starting their own podcast, so I thought I'd get an expert on the show to teach us all we need to know. My guest today didn't just change countries, she changed everything. She landed in Australia from the UK with 2 toddlers, no family support, and an aching sense that her voice and her purpose were still somewhere out there. So she did what bold, quietly fierce women do. She built something from nothing. Today, she's the founder of Podcast Support Services and the host of Podcasting for Business Owners, helping others do what she once thought she couldn't: show up, speak out, and turn invisible ideas into audible action. People describe her as thoughtful, grounded, and quietly powerful. She describes herself as someone still learning, still stretching, still taking imperfect action, whether that's speaking at Toastmasters, recording content from her kitchen, or walking off a bad day with a podcast in her ears. This episode is about finding your voice, especially when you're not sure you even have one yet. It's about growing something real and resonate when everything around you feels messy, loud, and not enough. I have no doubt you're going to love this one. Laura McRae, welcome to the show.
thank you for having me.
I've been looking forward to it. This is actually the first time we've met in person. So
No, it's mad, isn't it?
yeah, for our audience, Laura has an amazing newsletter. If you haven't signed up, I highly recommend that you do. We'll be sure to pop a link in the show notes for you as well. Laura, walk us through, what can our listeners expect to learn from our episode today?
So I guess they can, depending on where you want to go with this, we can talk about steps to launch a podcast, or ways to help you grow your podcast. Anywhere you want to go with a podcast, I'll do my best to help you. Yeah.
Great. What I'd like to first do is let's rewind. What did moving to Australia with 2 toddlers and no support system really look like behind the scenes?
Well, it was harder than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, when we have babies, we thought, oh, it's fine. They're just little babies, but they take up a lot more time than you expect.
So I've heard.
Yes. So and that's why I started my own business, because it meant that I can be there for them as well as having my own business. Because working for a company, well, for me, I felt guilty whenever I got a call from the school to say they were sick or wanted to take time off to go to their concerts and things like that. So, yeah, where you don't have the support at home, that's where it can be tricky. But and this is why, we start our own businesses so we can do things we want to do.
Yeah, and do you find that your business has given you that sort of flexibility that you need?
Yes, definitely. I love it.
Yeah, it is a bit of a juggling act sometimes, right?
But there's also the other side of it where you end up working at weekends and nights where you wouldn't when you work for a company. So the time that you take off to go to the school concerts, you end up making up at weekends.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've described the move, motherhood, and launching a business as equal parts exciting and terrifying. What part did you find really pushed you to your limits?
When everyone gets sick at the same time and you still have to work. Yes, that puts you to your limits, because I'm normally the one that has to look after everyone. But when I'm sick too and got to run a business, that's when it all gets tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you navigate that?
I don't know. You just got to get on with it, really. Suck it up. So basically, it tends to be that the kids get better quicker than me. They get to school, and then when they're at school, then you can relax
heal
and finally get over it. Yeah.
Do you find you just have to push through?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Because I've got 2 dogs, so it's very, very different. But I always admire mothers or dads or families in general when you've got 2 or 3 kids that you have to try and look after at the same time. You're trying to look after yourself and run a business at the same time. Yeah. And when did you first feel that your voice mattered, like you weren't just surviving but being heard?
I still struggle with this one because it's not. I'm an introvert, really, and this is why I love podcasting, really, because I feel like it's a platform where even the most quietest, shyest person can get their voice out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's it, really. And you mentioned earlier about Toastmasters. I went to Toastmasters because I have a fear of public speaking, like many of us do. I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
But also to help me with podcasting and having our own businesses too. You've got to talk. You can't hide. As much as my whole life before I started my business, I was always the behind the scenes person, and I still am. But having the business too, you've got to put yourself out there, which I struggle with. So
you still struggle with it?
Not as much, but I do.
I'm the same.
Yeah, I do get anxious still, but it's not like it used to be. No.
Yeah, it does get a bit easier, right?
I think that's where I did start podcasting, so it was easier to be heard. I guess that's where. So I don't ever feel like I've been in survival mode. I think I've been very lucky and grateful that I've had a life where I'm not surviving. I am. So I think that's why I struggle to answer that question.
No problem.
But having my voice out there, podcasting makes that so much easier because you don't have to perform. You can turn up in your pajamas if you want. Yeah. It's just the best platform, I think. And I know a lot of people feel like they should be on camera now because YouTube's blown up. But I always encourage people, if you're nervous to start a podcast, just start with audio first because then there's not that pressure to be on camera. And when you're ready to go on camera, by all means, go on camera. But if it's about you want to get your voice out there and worry about the camera later.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I threw myself in the deep end and literally went video, audio, and there's some of my first videos. I'm just like so nervous and like sweat drenched, sweaty mo. But anyway, the more I've done it, the more confident I feel like I've, become. I still get nervous sometimes. I think it's a constant work in progress.
And that's brilliant because you imagine all that content you've got, all that video content as well as audio content is amazing. Yeah. So if you can do video, go for it. But if it's putting you off, start with audio and then go to video later. Yeah,
definitely a great suggestion. It is quite amusing watching some of my earlier stuff, but yes, I think just starting with audio and then moving into video is a great suggestion as well. You've said podcasting helped you find your voice, not just amplify it. Can you take us back to a moment that made that feel real for you? So was it when you launched your own podcast?
Yeah, it was because I felt the pressure really because I was supported. Like I said before, I've always been a behind the scenes person.
Yeah.
So I was happy sitting there editing clients' episodes and recommending them what they should do to help grow their podcast. And then I felt like a bit of a fraud because I didn't have my own one, and I wanted to practice on my own podcast too, but I was very nervous to do it. So I just, like you say, just went for it, not on video but on audio, went for it and just started it. And I love it now, and I'm so pleased I started, because it's not only the podcast that's the content, you've also got, you can just repurpose it in so many ways, which I love about podcasting. It's just like the backbone for all your content, all your marketing content.
Yeah, that's something I really underestimated, because I mean, I pretty much started the Real Busy Life Chronicles because I love talking, and I've met so many wonderful people in my life and wanted to showcase them. But it has become a great content generation beast that you can kind of, you can pull different snippets from it. You can create newsletters, you can do posts. So it's really a great platform to help with that, consistent content that we all have to produce all the time.
Yeah, and I think it makes me sad when I see people with a podcast and they just release the episodes and then that's it. You're like, make newsletters, make blog posts, make social media posts, go on Pinterest, do all these things. But no, they're just sitting there like, no, it's such a waste.
No, it's honestly, you can repurpose an episode so many times, and then you can chop it up. Like you say, it's so versatile. It's highly, I underestimated all of that. So what's the first step if someone is thinking of starting a podcast, Laura? What would be your recommendation to them?
First of all, you need to work out why you want one, because a lot of people tend to start a podcast thinking, oh, this is going to be great, I'm going to chat to my mates or whatever, talk about business, and then they don't realise, they don't have a plan on who their audience is, who they want to speak to, what their goals are, what do you want to get out of it, because you need the goals so you can measure your podcast and if it's successful and tweak things along the way. And people underestimate how long it takes too. So yes, you might interview someone for an hour, but there's also, if you're editing, you've got to do all that editing. You've also got to get the guest on, so it's all that planning for the guest, and sometimes they can cancel at the last minute, and it's all that preparation, and people don't consider that, and they're just like, oh, I'm just going to record and go, but it's not. And then obviously there's, like we were talking earlier, there's all the marketing as well and the repurposing. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I think that's what people underestimate with podcasting, and that's why so many podcasts, the average is that a podcast will stop after 10 episodes.
I've heard so, yes. And I think thereafter not many get to 50, and then 100 is even more rare as well. Yeah. I think I had the same, and I was like, I'll start a podcast, I'll just keep it raw and keep the sound, and then slowly everyone's like, oh, your sound's shit. I'm like, oh, righty-ho. So as much as I try keep it, obviously the conversation's raw, but we still have the sound and everything edited, so it still sounds good and looks good, because yes, the workload, it's like having another business. It's a full-time job. Walk us through, so starting your business from scratch, what did that actually take?
Well, I originally started a business as a virtual assistant, because how I ended up this way, my husband's an electrician, so I was doing his bookkeeping and his admin and his marketing. I was thinking, I could do this for other people. So I started a business as a virtual assistant and started marketing myself to other small business owners. And one of my first clients, she had an old podcast, and she wanted to either start a new one or relaunch the one she's got. And I really wanted to help her. I really love this client. She's still a client today.
Oh, great.
And I really wanted to help her. So I did a course in podcast management, and I absolutely loved it. It was everything, because my background is in marketing. So there was that side of it, and there was also the organisation side of it. I'm quite an organised person, so it was everything I loved. So I then ditched all my other services and just focused on helping people with their podcasts. And so in the end, we decided after the course, I realised she needed to just stop her old podcast and start a whole new one, because she had a brand new audience. She had a new message, a new mission. So I knew what she needed to do, and it's still going now. So that's great.
So she actually changed her entire podcast?
Yeah, she
like
just,
a rebrand, would you say?
Yeah, well, she's left that one there, and she's just started a whole new one, because the back end wasn't set up properly. It was only on Apple, and it wasn't in all the other places. So we thought, let's just start all over again. And
how long did you have your VA business for?
Maybe just a year.
Yeah.
Or a bit less than a year. It took less than a year to realise it was podcasting I wanted to do.
Yeah. And you're now the founder of Podcast Support Services and you host your own show. What have you found has been the biggest lesson?
Well, for my own podcast, I struggle with, like I said, I'm organised and a bit too anal sometimes. I struggle with speaking off the cuff because, like I say, I'm not a confident speaker, and so I really launched my podcast recently, and I was like, right, this time around, I'm not going to script my episodes. And the first episode I didn't script it; I just had notes. And then ever since then, I've gone back to scripting again.
Oh, have you?
Yes, I just wish. It's something I really struggle with, and that's what I've learned, that it's not easy to just talk off the cuff. It doesn't come naturally for me. So that's that's what my big learning curve is. I've got to get on and just try and not be so anal.
I think I have said in previous episodes, but something my mentor said to me is that everything's an experiment. And I found that just took the edge off me. So, because I was the same, a bit anal and very like, things have to be, I mean, I'm still a little bit, I'm work in progress. But I just found it kind of opened up my mind to that stuff's going to, if you mess up here and there, it's going to happen. And you can learn from that and then, do something else next time.
And I think I shoot myself in the foot too, because I edit, obviously, my own podcast. And so when I make a mistake, I just re-say it over and over again until I get it perfect, because I'm thinking, well, it's only me editing it anyway. It doesn't matter if I stuff it up.
Got it.
So, yes. I make a rod for my own back, really.
Yeah, I know I did that with I think it was the first season, one of the intros. I just was having a very tongue-tied day, and for some reason, like, everything I said just came out wrong. So I sat and I was like, right, so I'm going to re-record this intro. I think I did like 20 takes, and I was literally bonkers by the end of it. So I was just like, Tracy, this is the final time. Just do it and move on, because, yeah, like you say, we become our worst enemy because we're like in perfectionist mode, and it almost like heightens it. So I found I was making more mistakes. It's just a mess.
Yeah, time to walk away, have a break.
Yes, definitely. Why is it that you think you struggle to speak off the cuff, Laura?
It's just something I've always been. Like I say, I'm not the most outgoing person, and I think it's just one of those things that I'm not the most boldest person and confident, so I think it comes with that, really.
I think you're very approachable and easy, though, in conversation.
Oh, good. That's nice to know.
Yeah. What's one misconception you had about podcasting before you got into it, and how did that really surprise you?
The connections you can make. And that's amazing. And I love this. The way that you do these are in person is nice, because you get to meet the person in person, which is lovely. And I've found, having my own podcast and stories from my clients too, yes, it's nice to promote your business and get leads and stuff too, which is a main reason why most business owners start a podcast. But I think the connections you make too are just so great. And I've met so many lovely people through podcasting, even when you just meet them online and record online. In person is even better, but it's just getting to know those people. And when people you've admired for ages say yes and come on your show, it's just such a wonderful feeling.
Cool. Yeah, it's really really great. I want to speak to your great newsletter, because I think we connected. Was it through Instagram?
I think it must have been.
It was maybe like a year ago, I want to say. And I always enjoy receiving your newsletter, because it's always so educational. It's always so informative. And obviously through my branding agency, we do try to educate our clients on this. But I really think it's so well done, your one. And just goes to show how you constantly put out a great newsletter. You're at the forefront of someone's mind. And that's why I say, when I got asked these questions about podcasting, it's like, I have to get you on my show. That's why it's so nice to meet you today as well.
Yeah, lovely to meet you too. So with the newsletters, so it's basically, like I was saying about repurposing, it's repurposing podcast episodes mainly.
Right.
So I'm repurposing. So what I'll do is, with my podcast, I'll edit it, get the transcript, run it through AI tools, and create a newsletter, then edit that, and then that's what goes out. So
fantastic.
that's one of the ways I my newsletter is one of the ways that I repurpose my podcast.
Oh, well, it's great. And you inspire me to have a newsletter now.
Oh, wonderful. That's brilliant.
I've been like putting off the idea of creating a newsletter for the Real Biz Life Chronicles. But I think what I love about you is just make it so simple, right? You've got the content, just put it through AI and, I can get my copywriters to proof it because, again, you repurposing that content, and it's not another thing we have to do as a business owner and set the time aside and try and create a new bit of value content.
Yeah, I think with marketing, it's just a way of getting people where they're at. So yes, if people don't listen to my podcast, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I'll connect with them via the newsletter, or I'll connect with them using the same content via Pinterest and blog posts and social media. Sorry, I keep hitting your mic.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. We've got a bit of background beats.
I'm talking too much with my hands. I'm going to sit on them from now on. But yeah, so it's just, and yeah, with my newsletter, obviously the podcast is a lot longer. So I just condense what I've got in the podcast to the main points, the bits what people can learn from, because I want in my newsletter everyone to have a takeaway, at least a couple of takeaways in there. And it's just repurposed content. Yeah.
Do you think there's an ideal, length for a podcast?
I got asked this question just yesterday. No, well, it's trial and error, really. Well, at the beginning, like I say, you should think about your ideal listener before you start a podcast. Think about who they are and where they're going to listen to your show. So if your podcast is for a busy mum, for example, she's going to only want to listen to episodes 15, 20 minutes because she's busy doing jobs and you've got to fit into her life. Whereas if you're might be someone who's commuting to work every day, then a 45-minute episode might work for them. So those lengths work for them. But again, there's no real answer to that, because as long as you're giving value and you're not boring, it could be any length. So like Stephen Bartlett, I mean, his episodes are really long. I've only listened to one of his all the way through because I just can't fit that in.
It's like a movie times two.
But I know they're really popular, but they're just not for me.
Yeah.
So again, thinking about your audience. And also, like I was saying, it's trial and error, because once you've started a podcast, sometimes you don't know what your listeners like until you've already started it. So what I do for my clients is every month I'll go in and check their analytics. So I'll go in Apple Podcasts and Spotify and check their consumption rates, which is the length of time people listen to an episode. And so generally, I would say if it's people listen to 70% of your episode, then you're doing a good job. But if it's like cutting off around 40% or anything under 70, you maybe need to make your episode shorter or think about maybe making the intro shorter. That's when we sort of work out and try and work out where people are dropping off so that we can get the right length. So
for the audience.
Yeah, so sometimes you don't know until you've already started.
So that's through Apple Podcasts, you say, and was it Spotify? You get those stats?
Yeah.
And do you think there's one platform that's better over the other? Because we use Buzzsprout to kind of push it across everything, and I think Apple Podcasts stands alone from that.
No, you could I use Buzzsprout too. That's a great hosting platform. It's just really easy.
Yeah.
I'd say that was good. They're easy to connect to all the different platforms. But now you can just click a button and you can connect to Apple and Spotify and YouTube. You still have to go in manually and connect your podcast to there through Buzzsprout. But I think that's on all the hosting platforms. But yeah, I'd say Buzzsprout is great. Captivate, I've heard good things about, because with Captivate, you can have multiple podcasts and you don't pay extra.
Oh, that's good.
I think you pay by download, so you reach a certain amount of downloads and then the price goes up. I believe that's the case. Buzzsprout is the one I use, but I've heard Captivate's really good too.
And then for online recording, would you recommend StreamYard or?
So for my clients, because they've got the quality is not great, I'll admit, but because they've got a Zoom subscription already, they've just gone with Zoom. They were happy to do that, and then I edit it so I'll make the sound a bit better anyway. But they've all got their pros and cons. So Riverside is a really good one.
Yes,
but I've used Riverside, and then when I've sent the link to the client, the guest, they got all confused, and I was like, all right, let's just do it on Zoom. because they couldn't work out what buttons to press. And I've found as well, when I've been a guest on someone's show on Riverside, it kept glitching. But I think, but yeah, I mean, so the quality of the audio and video is much better on Riverside. But if you just want ease, and if you've got a Zoom subscription, go with that. But yeah, I'm going to admit the quality isn't as good.
Yeah, because for online, like if you've got a guest overseas or whatever the case may be, we just use Zoom for the time being.
Yeah.
And then my editor said, I think it kind of meshes the audio or something. That's why one of those is better. But yes, I had StreamYard before for the first year, but very hit and miss sometimes as well. So
yeah, I've not used StreamYard. Yeah, I've only used Riverside. I should give it a go.
And so for our listeners, obviously establishing who their audience is the first step. Where to after that?
Yeah, your goals. So why you want a podcast? Are you looking to make new clients? Are you looking to network? Work that out, and also a mission. So it's good to think of what your podcast is for and why you're doing it, who you're helping, what's the purpose of the podcast, those sort of things. And I know it's really boring and people want to skip that part.
Oh, so important,
but it's so important because, and this is why people just drop off, because they're not thinking about who it's for and why they're there. Yeah.
That was one of the first things that I did. So with my team, we came up with a name. Once we had that, now it's going back a while ago, then got clear on that sort of summary of what the mission was, why we were doing it, and then thinking about the listener. And then, I think for about 6 months I taught myself how to record in that, and then I taught my team. So that really helped because, like I say, it's a full-time job. Otherwise, I would not be able to do all this if it wasn't for my amazing team at Design Studio Perth.
Yeah. And also you must stick to a time in your week to do it, because if you don't block it out in your calendar, you're just going to go, tomorrow, and that's when your podcast will just stop after 10 episodes.
And Laura, have you got any tips for us for episodes where there isn't a guest, like actually just speaking on camera to yourself? Because I've tried it once or twice and I felt like such a weirdo. It's just like, I sent it to one of my designers. He's like, I think you maybe need to give it another go, because it was so weird, like sitting there trying to talk through these, ideas. But I've just felt so strange.
I guess, well, I don't record on video, so, but I would suggest, I know this probably sounds a bit lame, but just imagine if you've got a favourite client or someone you know personally, rather than, I know a lot of people say, an avatar, like a pretend person. Yeah. But if you're thinking of an actual person, maybe a friend or someone that you really want to talk to, if you imagine them, and that you're speaking to them, that might make it a bit easier.
I'm going to try it because, it was so different. I think when you've obviously got someone else there, you feed off each other's energy and vibe and you can kind of bounce. But when it was just me, I was like,
Yeah. And I think that's the same with me why I script my episodes, because if I'm doing a guest interview, it's actually easier because you can just chat. When I'm sitting there on my own, I'm like, right, I need to type all this out, otherwise I don't know what I'm going to say.
I think my designer's words were like, are you okay? You look very depressed. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm just trying to get used to the idea of speaking to myself. But I think I'll imagine ideal client Steve and then try and do it that way and not be so awkward about it. So Laura, you've worked in traditional marketing. How does podcasting challenge or rewrite the rules of that world?
Well, back when I was in university, a long time ago, I did video editing as part of and I loved doing that.
Okay.
That was when you used to carry a video camera on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And I loved the editing part of that, and I never really thought about it until I started editing podcasts. I was like, I always wanted to do that and never ended up going down that field. So I think that's why I love editing the podcast. But I think with the marketing background, it just really helps because I always wanted to do the editing thing but never ended up doing it as a career, so I'm doing it now, which is nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like come around. Yeah, interesting.
And the marketing, it just really helps because podcasting, if you're a business owner, podcasting is your marketing. So and that's where I love helping clients, because I make sure that they don't just talk willy-nilly about stuff, and making sure that we plan the episodes so they are based around their business goals, so that if they've got an event coming up, making sure in that episode that they're about to record, make sure you talk about this event. And when they bring it to me, and if it's not in there, I'm like, right, now record a little advert or something so that I can pop it in for you to make sure, because they'll have these events and they'll be like, oh, why didn't I sell so many tickets? Well, we need to, let's get you advertised. So I keep an eye on those things for them too, making sure that they're promoting their services, and if they're not, we have those little adverts on hand to pop in if they forget.
Oh, great. So you guide them through that entire process?
Yeah, and I do it for myself because I'm guilty of it too. So I'll record an episode, I'm like, I didn't talk about my services. So I'm like, right, I'm going to pop the advert in there.
Fair enough. Yeah, because I underestimated what a great marketing tool it actually is, but not just for us, for our guests as well. It's raised not only our profile in Design Studio Perth, it's really helped our guests, which is nice. So in my mind, that's an ideal, business. It's creating abundance for everyone, not just us, which is really cool.
That's it. Yeah, definitely. I love it. And that's what's the great thing about the guesting, because you're meeting people and you're building a community, and it's just so lovely. Yeah,
I thought only my mom and my granny would listen, but it's been really well received, which is so nice. So I think the nicest thing for me has been when I get a message from someone and they say, oh, I listened to this episode and, it was just what I needed to hear. I think a few people have messaged saying they left their job. I'm like, I hope you had a nest egg saved. So it's just great to see the impact that it's having out there, which is great.
Yeah, that's so good. And funny enough, I did a webinar yesterday on podcast guesting, and I was saying, sorry, I'm going off topic here.
No, it's fine. Go for it.
Because they wanted to know how to get podcast hosts to say yes to being a guest.
Yes.
And one of the tips I did say, well, first of all, don't go in talking about yourself and how wonderful you are. Talk about go to them and speak about a topic that they could talk about on the show that will benefit their audience and why it will help them and that sort of thing. But going back, so before you pitch to them, if they've got an email list or a podcast, send them a message like you've just described, saying, you've really helped me with this. I love this episode. And it's just a great way to get that connection before you pitch yourself as a guest. And then,
it's a great idea.
Yeah, so as a host of a show and as someone who has a newsletter too, when people reply, it's like, oh, I'm really happy that you're seeing this.
So nice.
It's such a nice feeling. And that's why we do it, because we do it to help people. And when you hear back that it is helping people, it's such a lovely feeling. Yeah.
It's the best. And have you got any tips for us in terms of the planning side of things? Because I know we use Airtable, and we obviously send the media release form, all that sort of paperwork side of things. Is there anything you can recommend for us there?
No, you're the most organised podcast I've ever been on in my life.
Thank you.
Yes. And it's funny because
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, very organised. But and I encourage people to, you have a checklist of making sure people know where they stand before they come on. And I wish other people would do that, because it's such a good way so people know what to expect and what you're using the podcast for and everything. Yeah. So all the legal boxes are ticked too. Yeah.
I can't take all the credit for the organising. I have Magic Mav, my amazing ops manager, and she helps with all that side of things and making sure our guests have, filled out the questionnaire, got everything signed, and she updates everything. So it's just so good to be organised in the space, because otherwise I think, you not just the guest, but you rock up to do a recording and you're just not prepared, and I can't think of anything worse. So.
Yeah. So for your listeners, I would say, if to get yourself organised for having a guest on the show, just if you've got Calendly, just use that to book the spot in, and within that, make sure you've got some tick boxes, asking your guests to wear headphones, because wearing headphones as a podcast guest is really important for editing. Tick that box and let them know that you're the person who's in charge of the editing. It's your show, and what you're going to do with it, it will be repurposed, those sort of things, so that they know.
Yes.
So what you did is really good, and I have it too, but I'm not as organised as you. I just have the tick boxes in my Calendly links, but yeah.
But it's important stuff, right? Because what I've noticed is some people have a very different idea of how the content's going to be used. And we had a lot of people ask for the raw show. And we're like, we can't really give that because it's copyright to the show and it's all kind of outlined on there. And I even found like, how people want their name to be showcased on the podcast tile, because you think, oh yeah, just their full name. So we've now, for next season 3, we've added on there, please let us know how you want your name to be, because someone might, have a shortened name that they're known by. So it's been like, just when we think we've got it down pat, there's something else that pops up. So, and I've had a few people rock up with someone to record the episode as well. And I'm like, no.
Wow, that's mad.
Interesting. And not even asking as well. I'm just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So just different, I guess, different expectations. So,
And I've had someone with the tick boxes, they were like questioning them, and I thought, and I said, well, maybe don't come on then. And I thought, I don't want to go down the line, and I've put an episode out there and he doesn't want it, and I'm like, right, no, I'd rather just not have that podcast episode. I mean, it's not I've never had that before. It was literally just a general one, like, it's my show, I'm going to put it out there. Once it's out there, it's out there, kind of thing.
I had that happen as well. I did a recording. This was season 1. Incredible guest, amazing, shared his journey. It was a really good episode. There was no like hiccups or awkward pauses or anything like that. And I think he called me maybe a week later and asked me not to publish. He just said, I just can't, for where I'm at in my business. But there was, I think it was just self-doubt had crept in over that time. And I find that does happen. It's a space where people feel they can share, and then sort of that self-doubt seeps in afterwards. And he just said, please don't publish it. So obviously out of respect, I didn't. But I was really thrown off because I thought, wow, it was such a great episode. He shared like his entire business journey, which so much value, but it was just absolutely close to the idea. Do you find that happens to some of your guests as well? They just have that self-doubt that creeps in?
We were talking earlier about when we give our guests a list of questions that we're going to ask before we come onto a show. And Tracy, we were both talking about how we don't do that anymore because some guests who come on who aren't as confident will script out all their answers. So I would say that's the self-doubt there, where they're not confident in just coming on and talking, which is understandable. I'd probably be the same if I had a list of questions first too. Maybe not script the whole thing out, but I would have bullet points of what I wanted to run through. I found a few people would rock up. It's very like wooden plank like, and I'm just like, just chill, like just say whatever comes to mind. But again, it's that nervous side of things, because it's very brave putting yourself out there, whether it's a podcast or public speaking. Public speaking is something I'm trying to embrace more of. But I found this platform has really helped with that as well. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Laura, what's something you've learned from your own clients that changed your approach to podcasting?
That I just need to get on and do it. Yeah.
I love that.
And so I've worked with clients who are TV presenters, and they seem very, very confident. But even the most confident people are nervous to start a podcast.
Really?
And I found it amazing. And again, clients who stand up at events in front of hundreds of people are nervous to start a podcast. And so we're all in the same boat. Everyone's nervous to start one. And then, and I think that's the thing. And then I've explained this to other clients who come on like, oh, I'm so nervous, like everyone is. Once you get going, it's not, you get used to it. The first few episodes, especially if you're doing solo episodes, they just feel really weird and awkward.
That would.
But then you just get over it and do it,
Yeah, why do you think that is? Is it because it's a more like intimate setting? If there's this like a one-to-one guest, like you mentioned, a news presenter is so confident, on TV, but then when that environment changes?
I guess because you can't blame anyone else. It's you're the one, you're leading the show, especially with the solo episodes, and you're out there for the whole world to hear.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's it. But it's could be quite scary. Sorry if I'm putting people off now.
No, it's a reality, right? Because what I found with the show as well, in terms of my branding agency, when I meet someone I haven't met before, they almost feel like they know me. But I love it. I think it's great. Yes. So it's like that trust is already there, which is so like it's so great that it's already there, right, when you meet someone.
Yeah.
And then also you have to be mindful of like what you share, not overshare, because obviously it's a professional platform. And then I was interviewed on the 100th episode. I was in the guest seat. It's so different being the guest seat to being here. And afterwards I had the same. I was like, oh my word, what did I say? So yeah, it's incredible, like the human psych side of things when you actually, you know, in that guest seat and what you share and like all the different emotions that come with that. So I never take it for granted what I ask of someone when they sit across from me.
Yeah, it's definitely great for building the trust, like you say. And I've got a funny story of a client. She was walking, just going for a normal morning walk, and a woman had her headphones on and she just stopped and she was like, oh, I'm just listening to you right now.
Goodness.
So it's funny, isn't it, the
So
people you can reach.
Yeah.
And like you say, the trust, and these same clients have got clients through their podcast because they've built that trust. And I'm the same. If I'm binge listening to a podcast and I love, I'll end up buying a course off them. I'm guilty of it myself, and that's what you do because you feel like you know them.
You do, it builds that rapport and relationship with that person. So who is your favourite podcaster?
Oh, well, I listen to podcasts about podcasting.
Of course.
So my favourite podcasts are Grow the Show, which is by Kevin. He's changed his surname. It was Kevin Schmidland, and now he calls himself Kevin Michael, I think.
Oh, so he changed his name?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think because Schmidland is his surname, and people have struggled with it, so maybe he's using his middle name. So Kevin Michael, he calls himself now.
Yeah.
And there's another one, School of Podcasting by Dave Jackson. They're the two that I religiously listen to every week, And there's Pod News Daily as well. It's just a 5-minute episode that comes out every day about podcasting. So yes,
that's
I'm
pretty
just
cool.
A podcasting geek.
Yeah. Is that like tips and stuff that they share?
Or just news or what's out there, new equipment, what Spotify are doing, who's doing this, who's doing that. Yeah.
And Laura, what do you wish more business owners were honest about when it comes to marketing themselves?
That your personality is what people go for. So, and I think that's why podcasting is great, because your personality really comes out and people get to know you. But it's like, I don't know, as a business owner myself, small business owner, I would much rather go to a small business owner that I like, rather than a big organisation that's all flashy. I'd say just making sure that they're themselves, market yourselves as a person and your brand. You are your brand as a business owner, because you are your brand, and wear it with pride and show your personality. And I think that's with marketing, if you're a small business owner.
Well, you're speaking my language, because I'm all down for branding. And I honestly, it's so nice to hear it from someone else other than myself, because at the end of the day, you are that key point of difference in your business, your personal brand, your business branding, whilst built around your ideal client. And I guess there's a stage when you do try to step a bit away from being the face of your business. But yes, in those beginning years, at least I want to say the first 10, it's so important, especially if you trade as your name. It's very important to consistently put yourself out there. What would your daughters say about the work that you do?
Well, I've tried to... They'd probably say it was boring, because they just see me sitting at my desk with my headphones all day. And I've said to them, I'm doing this so that later on down the line you'll have your own business. They're like, nah, I don't fancy that, Mum.
Oh, really?
No, but my eldest daughter, she's 11, and she's great at her and her friends come round and they make videos, and she edits them amazing. I'm
great.
like, can you be my social media person later on a bit? And so I think... So... What do they think about my business? Probably a bit boring, but then they don't, because they just see the editing side of it. I don't think they'd be into that, but I think they're very creative and they would enjoy social media. And because podcasting is getting bigger on the video side, I think if they saw me doing that, they would be more interested. But because I'm more audio, they find it boring. But
so you don't have a video as such?
No, I don't. I've dabbled in video editing, but it's not my expertise. It's something I really need to practice more on. But I haven't had a client I've had one client that wanted it, and I've done it. But I'll wait until I'm pushed to do it. I've been putting it off for too long. I know I should do it, but I just love audio editing. Yeah,
that's like your niche as well.
Yeah.
So today is quite different for you with the video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, you're putting yourself out there, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Can you share any final words of wisdom for someone who is thinking of starting a podcast?
Just do it. Well, obviously, like I say, do your homework first.
Yes.
Why you want one and everything. But I'm going to say every single client I've had who's come to me to launch a podcast has said, I've wanted to do this for about 3 years.
Wow.
And they just haven't got on and done it. And it really isn't as hard as you think. People think you need all this tech. You literally need a mic and headphones.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be expensive mic. You can get one for under $200, a decent mic. And headphones, you only need decent headphones if you're editing. And even those, my headphones cost $89.
I think mine were the same.
Yeah. And then you can get free software to record. I use Audacity, that's free to record and edit. And then, like I say, if you've got Zoom or something already to do interviews, just use what you've got. It really isn't expensive, and it's just a case of getting on and do it. Just do it.
Yeah. And is there a mic you'd recommend?
Well, the Blue Yeti is an easy mic to use. That's $198 in JB Hi-Fi normally.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and then it goes on special a lot too. And Audio Technica headphones are great.
That's the ones I've got.
Yes,
Yeah.
So they're just easy to use, and like with the Blue Yeti, it just sits on your desk, and it's just so simple. Yeah.
I know when I first started, I think I was looking at the Blue Yeti, and there was another one. I have it on my bookshelf. That's the shitty mic. So I wish I could remember the name. So don't do that one. Do the Blue Yeti. If you are thinking about starting, and if I can recommend the Sony ZV-E10s for your video, it's really, really good. And having a Rodecaster. Do you have a Rodecaster as well?
No, because when I do interviews, I do them through online.
Oh, of course.
So I've not done in-person one, no.
Yeah, yes. I find I've got a Rodecaster at home, and that just helps with the sound in my yas all the time. So it works really well. Laura, looking back, what's one piece of advice you give your younger self?
I was thinking about this because I knew this question would come up. And you know what? I couldn't think of an answer because I'm one of these people that I don't really plan where I'm going. So, like some people say, I would say life's going to be okay, don't worry about it. But like I say earlier, I've been fortunate. I feel like I've been grateful for my whole life, and I've never felt like I needed something magical to happen.
Oh, that's really great. Not many people can say that.
Yeah, so
what's
I'm
the
very
secret?
grateful.
I think I need some of that in my life.
I've just been very grateful and lucky in life that I'm just grateful for life, and it's maybe I should have said to my younger self, be more grateful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you are you very much into like the wellness spiritual side of things?
No, I just enjoy life in general and try to see the positive in everything. So when like the kids around the dinner table will say, what was your favourite part of today? And then they'll say, but this happened. I'm like, right, let's talk about the best parts first.
Oh, good. So you flip it?
Yeah, we always try and think of good things, and like if someone's grumpy down the shops and the kids are like, it's grumpy, and we're like, well, you don't know what's happened to them today, do you?
Yeah,
so
it's a good reminder.
Yeah. So we all have days like that. So it's just always trying to, I wouldn't say I'm spiritual, but I'm just always trying to see there's another side to a thing. So if something bad's happened, there's a reason for it, and we need to try and flip it.
Yeah. And have you learned that throughout your life? Have you always been that way? Because I find for myself, sometimes if there's something negative happening, and I think that's human nature, we just kind of like get stuck on that. It's very hard to sometimes flip it, I find.
Yeah, definitely with the big things. But it's one of those things when something terrible happens, if someone was to say to you, everything happens to a reason, you just want to punch them in the face.
Yes.
Because you're in a really bad way.
Yeah.
But it's not until later on down the track you realise, not that it happened for a reason, but you grow from it in some way and you learn from it. And it's not a good thing that's happened, but you can learn and grow from it.
I always love to remember that, diamonds are formed under pressure. It's a bit cliche, but I love it. Like, it's just always reminds me, like, right, this is just a shitty time for now, but there's always a process and you always come out so much stronger afterwards.
That's it, yeah.
I'd love to know, what's the most outrageous or unexpected podcast you've ever come across and what made it stick with you?
Oh, I love the podcast. My Dad Wrote a Porno.
Oh, I haven't heard about that one, but I think I'll have to check it out.
It's good. It's basically this bloke, he's like in his 60s or 70s. He wrote a porno,
right?
And it's really, really, really terrible.
Oh,
and it's just him, the son, and his two mates sitting and reading a chapter in each podcast episode.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
And it's just funny.
Oh, we'll put the link in the show notes for sure.
Yeah, it's so bad it's funny.
So they just kind of read out each chapter, is it? Oh, wow.
And then joke about it and laugh about his dad. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's been some interesting ones I've come across. I love Mel Robbins. She's my favourite. Yeah. And also probably one of the reasons I'm doing this. So yeah, I just love every episode. There's always so much value in each episode. Laura, thank you so much for your time today. Where's the best place for our listeners to go should they wish to connect with you?
Oh, I'd love to connect with you. My website is podcastsupportservices.com.au, and I'm on all the social media platforms. My handle is podcast.support.services.
Perfect. And be sure to sign up to Laura's amazing newsletter as well. And I have to ask about your shirt. Is it a branded business shirt?
Yes.
That's really cool. Is there anything on the back?
Yeah, my logo.
Oh, let's see. Oh, perfect. Cool. Yes, guys, the importance of branding. I'm a big fan. Laura, thank you so much.
Thank you.